It doesn't affect you, right? Okay, so let me set up my devices here. So it's very funny. You got storms out in the New Orleans area, and then you know blackouts in New York and earthquakes over here. Just after I was talking about prepping, you do plenty improv jazz original. Yes, but I just wanted to play that because plenty of people like it. So I just wanted to play that, and then I can delete it. I kind of forgot how to play it, so I was kind of like trying to remember. So oops, sorry, if you noticed, I was making lots of mistakes because I was forgetting the chords. So welcome, folks. Thank you, penmanship. So it's funny when I'm talking about prepping, and then all of these things all happen, all within the span of a few weeks, right after I tell you about prepping. Isn't that interesting? So who knows? Maybe in this broadcast we'll get another earthquake, and then that just wraps it up and says, "See, you got to be into a prepping kind of mindset like I am." So it's kind of funny because if you're not ready, then things like this happen. But I guess New York is kind of dangerous. If you don't have power in New York, it's kind of a dangerous thing because the last time it happened in the 70s, there was a lot of crime. Hello, Beth. Hello, Beth. How are you doing, Beth? Harry Monk, you got your battery-powered radio ready. I got lots of battery-powered radios, including my HF radio, which should be in a total blackout. This would be allow me to talk to different continents. Cost a baby boom. I wouldn't be prepared for all this chaos. So you see, Beth, you watch me and you actually get prepared because I can predict the future. I predicted the future. I said, we need to be prepping. Even I realized that there were things that I did not do myself. And I actually went out to the store, added to my supplies, added to the water, basically added to everything I did not have enough of. And right after that, earthquake. So when the actual earthquake happened, I was like, hello, Daryl from Kentucky. When the actual earthquake happened, it was amazing because it was like I was prepared. You're 2 meter and you're 440. You're 70 centimeter. Well, nobody uses 2 meter anymore. They'll probably they're talking about giving up the 2 meter band. Yes, Daryl. Yes, I was just saying that I'm pretty good at forecasting this storms in in Louisiana and blackouts and earthquakes, and I told you to prep. And if you're prepped, and you don't worry about it, you just go with the flow and see what happens. So you got your ham radios and all that, you all study for your ham radio test. So I hope I'm promoting the right thing here and getting you guys situated. How long was the power outage in New York? I believe 3 hours for several, and according to the news, 60,000 people were out of power, something like that. So I presume that a bunch of New York is now back with power. That somebody can confirm that for me later, but they just got power. New update is power will be back midnight. Yeah, the rest will be back at midnight, but there's some of the power is already back for some, according to the news. So, got your solar kit today. Twitty, you actually got the solar kit. Trump shut down power. What do you think? Is it a sign of the end of times? No, Daryl, I do not. It just means be prepared. That's only a rumor. 2 meters strong and the backbone of local emergency communications. Unfortunately, it's not a rumor. I mean, it's not true that the 2 meter is the backbone, because here in LA, 2 meter is pretty empty. There's very little traffic, except for a few nets, occasional nets. You can't really leave your radio in the 2 meter band and expect a lot of traffic. There's some simplex traffic, but a lot of repeaters don't have any activity on the 2 meter band. So most of the activity, and there's certainly very little activity in 1.25 meters. Most of the activities on 70 centimeter. Here in LA, 70 centimeter, the repeaters are all connected all over the world, even, and they're even connected to the internet, believe it or not, which is kind of weird. So you can talk to anyone, on the repeaters here in California on the 70 centimeter band. So it's very, very busy. It's like constant. In fact, in any area, you'd probably get at least three very busy repeaters in any area. Very, very busy repeaters. So depending on where you are, it's going to be at least three of them that are going to be very, very busy. And so I believe now that they're trying to get people out of elevators. Beth, where are you? Are you over there? Are you over there? Well, you obviously have some power on your device there, so you must not be over there. Next project, you're in Dallas. Okay, I did not know that. Just goes to show I don't keep track. So you're in Dallas. So anyway, the topic tonight, prepared to be self-sustainable. Well, it's kind of hard in New York. How do you do it? How do you do it in New York? Steal from others? Because, you have tight spaces, too mmany people. When everyone wants to leave town, millions of people will have to cross the bridges. It's going to be different. I need to be prepared. Yes, Beth, I've watched my videos because there's a lot of, explanations. Echolink and 2 meter is strong. Where you are, it's strong. Not here. DMR is pretty strong. DMR is pretty strong, but I don't particularly like to use DMR because it relies on the internet, and it's like, why am I relying on something that you're not supposed to rely on in an emergency? It's like saying, let's rely on power. Well, what if there's no power? Maybe people need a Segway in some places. Do you remember what happened to the CEO of Segway? Started using Segway, and Segway took him off the cliff and caused himself to die. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to trust that Segway. Anyway, the topic tonight is about Internet of Things, or IoT. I talk to California all the time on 2 meter from Missouri. Yes, just the 2 meter is just not, you're probably talking DMR. You're obviously talking DMR, so, the repeater is probably on 440 or a skateboard. So UG Wells, no. How do you talk on 2 meter? You mean directly? How are we going to talk in 2 meters in Missouri to California? I don't get that. So IRLP. Satellite. Oh, yeah. You're tricking me. UG Wells, you're tricking me. Yeah. Yes, it's some specialized thing like that, yes. But you're trying to trick me here. So, yeah. The solar that you reviewed a few days ago. Twitty, several people actually bought that one. If you buy things like that, click on the link on my video so that you also do a moon bounce. You do a moon bounce, UG Wells. UG Wells. See, I can't do that. I mean, I'm only on QRP, so mine isn't going to bounce. This is UG Wells. This is not going to bounce on the moon. It's 5 watts. You need some high-powered stuff. Your 100 watts probably going to work, but 5 watts probably not. I don't expect us to go to the moon. So, yeah, I'm kind of a QRP. I'm interested in QRP modes. It's my thing. It's interesting to me to it's kind of a preppy style, not preppy, prepper style, to see if you can survive with very little power. With with the right antenna. I don't know. The problem here, UG Wells, is here in LA the noise floor is very very high, very very noisy. So some channels are very very hard to hear. So some people who have said, that it's 50 meters active where you are. Hello, Dutch Mass. Do you have power, Dutch? I need one of those for the next blackout and hurricane. Do you have power, Dutch? Are you affected, or you don't live in that part of town? Do you have power, Dutch? You know what? I'm on the wrong. Why am I missing? There you go. I click through your YouTube site. I'm new to Brax Tech, and find your education nicely together into a easily consumable, bite-sized broadcast. Oh, you're so welcome, Twitty. Finished dodging tornadoes from Hurricane Barry in flash floods. Yes, you have power in Brooklyn. Oh, you're in Brooklyn. Okay, so you're not affected by that. Okay, so hope you're okay, Lavelle Logan. Hope you're okay. Hello, Trust No Ho. Hello, Trust. How are you? So anyway, it's very funny that I tell you to prepare, and communications is probably number one, because here's the problem. You might think it's all about water and food and all that, and actually water is aside from water, the basic thing that you're gonna need really is communications. So I would say communication is number one. The problem is, if you don't know what's happening, you're forced to leave your house. And if you're leaving your house instead of communicating, you can actually cause danger to yourself if you're not aware what's going on. For example, you're in an earthquake and you said, well, all the power's down, you don't know what's up. So you said, well, let's listen to the news, and you don't have any radio. So you decide, I'm going to walk out there. And maybe somebody announced that there's another one coming, or there's a major fault in such and such a place, and then you go in there, and you know what I mean? Back in the earthquake in San Francisco, you could be driving down the freeway, and then some of those freeways disappeared. The bridge was gone. The bridge just buried some cars and so on, and that happened in Los Angeles too, 25 years ago. So that's happened. That's happened here. And so if you do not know what's up, communication is number one. So in my case, that's my main thing. In fact, when the earthquake was happening here in LA, not the time during the broadcast, but the day before, within seconds, everyone was announcing on the radio, where they are and how they felt the earthquake. Within seconds, within the first minute, I knew roughly how big the earthquake was. Within a minute, and that was very very valuable. Then it allows you to kind of operate with a little bit of safety, because if you don't know anything, typically you're just going to put yourself in more danger. So that's number one. So can you imagine a really really big earthquake, and then the first thing that happens is looting, and then you start saying, oh my gosh, we need some water, and they start looting, and then it becomes dangerous because shootings happen and so on. I'll take 1 minute earthquake over a hurricane any day, hands down. I've been in many hurricanes. I've been in many earthquakes. I'll take the hurricane. I can handle a hurricane. I have been in some very very strong ones, and if you're in the house, it's not so bad. If you're in the right kind of house, but earthquake is because you don't know. I mean, it can kill people immediately in some places, and others not. So hey, Doug, if I go, I want it to be quick. Then you should want the earthquake. We forget. Then you should want the earthquake, because the hurricane is kind of slow. You'll probably drown slowly. Earthquake, you're done. Okay, so communications is number one. So the people down in New York, if you, some of you have been listening to me and you actually have a uh, 70 centimeter radio, 440 megahertz radio, you can, get on your balcony and on your, you know, tall high rise and get on the radio and see what's going on. If there's no internet and no power. I trust no one. I barely trust myself, and I've been doing good so far. Well, that's not a bad idea. Greasy hands. The blackout could be racist. Did Russia shut the power off? The Russians did it. Yes. I'm sure they get the blame. Yes. I'm going to move. Portugal. Lisbon on the beach is great. Yeah, why are you in the desert? Move to the beach. Time to leave the desert. You can afford it. Go move. So anyway, that's not the topic tonight, but it was just current events. So we got earthquakes and hurricanes and all that going on, and blackouts. So hello, Drac. Drac's early. Category 7 would be great. Russia hacked the levees. Okay. So I have a boat dock on my patio. What does the boat dock do, Weefukan? Tell me what the boat dock does. It's a desert boat dock. So anyway, do you know that I have never been to Palm Springs? I mean, I kind of find that I'm using Weefukan because I'm not very far from Palm Springs, and I've never been there. Never been there. I don't know what I'm supposed to do when I'm over there. So I said, I don't know. It's looks kind of hot. So I've never been there. It's too hot to visit now. Well, Weefukan lives there. I lived in Palm Desert for a couple of years. I want to apologize to New York. I tripped over cord, causing blackout. Couldn't find outlet in the dark. Palm Springs is expensive and hot. Watch me on. Hey, folks, there's more people on Periscope today, and you should be watching me on YouTube, so that the algorithm thinks that they should pay attention to me. The algorithm has kind of lost its faith in me in the last couple of days. I'm not getting any new followers, which means the algorithm is screwing up. So, algorithm, guys, watch me on YouTube so I don't get algorithm problems here. It's a very, very unfriendly algorithm. So, anyway, the topic tonight has to do with IoT devices. And, I've talked about IoT in the past. I really haven't said much about, Google Home and Ring and all this. And I've talked more about Alexa. I'm watching you on FB Live. Zuck Van, don't do that. Kelp, come to YouTube. Team Workaholics. Hey, where's the strap? Desert Springs, baby. Hello. What is the strap you're talking about, Team Workaholics? Do you believe that iPhone is safer than Android? Yeah, it's true that iPhone is safer than Android. But that doesn't say much because iPhones are still spy. This is a spy brick. So I have my flip phones when I leave the house, so that it doesn't track everywhere I go. So I do use a flip phone. So, and I can text with it, and I can survive without going to social media for a few hours. So I can survive without social media. It will not kill me. Is here incognito. So yeah, this is a spy brick. So if you think that this is an iPhone, it's safer, yeah, it's a tad safer, a tad. But if you're saying that is iPhone immensely more secure than Android, the answer is no. All my devices at home are dumb except cell phone. I keep on top radio, white noise on. So partly one of the reasons I'm talking about this is I'm actually building some IoT devices. In fact, here's one I'm building here. You can see it as a little touch screen. So I can actually use this with a touch screen. So, well, you can't see, but I can actually pull up various. I've been working on the software part first. Oops, cold boot needed. You're in slow mode. No, Greg Rob. Everything seems to be fine here. Everything is running fine on all devices over here. We don't have any IoT devices here at my grandma's. Only phone and my laptop, and we have Wi-Fi now, so I don't miss things, and I don't even bother with social media unless yes. When do you have all that? When do you have all that mess on the piano? Well, I have all these electronics here for the broadcast, so all these wires. Sorry about all the wires here, but I have so many devices here that I'm showing you. So they all have power, and then on top of it, I have HF radio here. I mean, I got to be able to show you things, so there's a lot of stuff here on my piano. So I just ordered my first ham radios. Now I need to figure out how to program them. I'm in Los Angeles. Good team. So you need. Hello, Francis Shirley. The piano is getting abused, but I gets it for broadcasting. It's not getting abused. There's nothing to abuse it. It's not getting scratched. It's sitting on these and all the rubber. It's not getting abused. I take care of my piano. My piano is look. You don't see it, but even it's sitting on a piece of cloth, so I don't scratch it. My devices are sitting on a piece of cloth on the piano. Anyway, I made this IoT device in here. And this is going to be a new set of videos that I'm working on, and it's there's a term for what I'm doing, and it's called being a maker, and I've been working on this past week. I've been working on the software side of making this a standalone machine with touch screen. And I'm going to make also an LCD version of this without a touch screen. And you can actually access this through a web browser. So it actually announces right on here what the IP address is. So you go to any computer, punch up the IP address. Ben, this is not the router though. This is something different. This is not the Tor and Wi-Fi router. I'm building something different here. So this is a little bit more stuff. This is more of an experiment at the moment. It's not a finished product yet. So I just made the software this week, and this actually is getting sophisticated already. I made kind of a framework for software to run this, and the idea is that to control devices from here directly on this, and then you can use your phone to connect to this device. So all I have to do is take my phone, connect to this with my phone using a browser, and then I can actually fully control whatever I need to control on the device. I already made that part. That's already running. And so, it's touch screen and all that. If you build it, they will come. Really? So, hello, Randy. So anyway, this little thing here, it's going to be a controller thank you for the super heart, Randy. This will be a controller for Internet of Things that is different from Google Home, Ring, Alexa, and all that. This is going to be quite different. Okay, so I just did the software. The software is my development platform is done. I can that took a lot of work to set this up with a development platform, so it has a complete web server and everything in here to run everything, and basically configure it from the web interface. And then what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to integrate into transmitters and receivers. So I have a bunch of transmitters and receivers. I don't have all the parts yet. I have some of the chips. And what I'm going to do is actually create things like perimeter perimeter alarm sensors, PIR, passive infrared cameras, not inside your house necessarily. Some of this can be outside of your house. I'm actually going to put it, in different parts of the house to sense when people approach the house, not just when they're in it or nearby. If somebody even approaches my window, I'm going to know. If somebody is delivering UPS, I'm going to know that somebody came in. If somebody went to the backyard, like the utility company checking for the meters, I'm going to know. And I actually made this run. I actually made this run so that I don't have the sensors yet. I'm just testing the program. But I already have made it, so now it's already giving me notifications on BraxMe. BraxMe notifications. That's what a dog is for. So this is giving BraxMe notification. Is Amazon trying to service inside our homes? They are, Dwadi. So anyway, this is really exciting stuff because I don't trust any of the Google Home, Ring, and all that. I'm going to tell you why I don't trust them. So I'm building this very, very differently. For one thing, this box here cannot be accessed on the internet. This has no internet interface. No one from the outside can go control this device from the internet. That is the one thing. That's the one thing that I want to make sure that I accomplish. No direct website that you can run from a phone. No IP address that you broadcast. No dynamic IP. Perry keeps stopping on me. Be right back. Nothing happening here. Everything is running on mine. So the idea that I have is that if I'm going to build a device, it's got to be Randy Horton proof. Randy must not be able to hack this device and go check it out. Okay, and I'm going to tell you how I'm doing that. So, but this device can communicate on the internet. It is sending Randy. This is sending notifications. If you have a Brax account, it sends notifications and says sensor one, whatever sensor, your window, your perimeter, perimeter by the front door, perimeter by the whatever. It's giving a warning. Periscope keeps locking up on you, but all of my Periscopes in here are running fine. So it's a Periscope server related. It's seemingly the same yesterday. Same problem. Some people are having a problem with Periscope, but I am not. Everything is good here. It's got to be kelp proof. So anyway, let me just explain how I mistrust. If you have Alexa, so some of you are saying, well, I have Alexa Echo. And I mean, I don't want to be insulting, but if you have Alexa Echo, I don't know what to tell you. If you have Alexa Echo, I don't know what to tell you. So I don't want to be, I don't want to call you names and such for having Alexa Echo, but I'm just going to imply that perhaps the level of smartness is just not there when everyone that uses Echo gets their voice recorded and it gets stored at the Amazon servers. Why do you put a surveillance machine for Randy Horton to listen to you? Why do you want a surveillance machine like that? I don't want any surveillance machine. I don't want a Google Home controlled by a Google Assistant. I don't want anything that connects to the Google servers where they track you. And then they know if you're in the house, not in the house. They know everything. So what is HB Twist Mint? Can you fix the Alexa to stop spying on me when I'm at my mom's house? That's the other problem. Siri's Alexa's evil sister. Let me just tell you something. You go to a friend's house. They don't tell you they have Alexa. They don't tell you they have Alexa. So now you go there and you get voice printed. You get voice printed, and they know who you are at that house. I don't know, guys. This is not my idea of Internet of Things. That is not my idea. Do not buy these kinds of devices. It is not safe. You think it's fun to do all the security things, and then it turns out to be like this. It's not fun. Let me just read your comments here, Drag. If you have Alexa, anything that's just stupid. There was a thing on the news a few days ago about Alexa devices and their wake words not working right and devices recording kids' conversation. Yeah, I've been saying that. I have videos that nobody watches saying that Alexa's recording everything. Amazon, finally acknowledges, yes, we do keep it. They've been lying for years, saying, no, we don't keep your conversation. Finally, they say, oh, yeah, we do. Do our voices get analyzed now that phone systems are... Yes, Twitty, the National Sucking Agency has a very effective voice printing. Snowden revealed this a couple of years ago, that they can find anyone in the world talking on digital, and within seconds to minutes, if some terrorist spoke anywhere in the digital world, all over the world, they'd be spotted that quickly, and because of the voice print. When your phone doesn't have a signal, your pet's chip help fill the gaps. Do you track those too, Randy? Pet chips? Oh my gosh. Wow. T.S. Berry moving due west now, about 15 miles from LATX border. So, hello, Jane. Why is there 0? Was there always a 0 on your account, Jane? Or did you get blocked? Maybe there was always a 0, but why do I not recall that 0 before? Or maybe I'm seeing it on different platforms. That's always had a 0? Okay, there was? Okay. Maybe I'm getting confused here because it's so tiny. What about the Area 51 ambush? So, Dwadi, Trump says there's no aliens. And, he doesn't, he doesn't hold back. he on his first day in office, he probably asked, I want to know if there's any real thing going on in Area 51, but I should take it off. Can you take it off, Jane? Or somebody has your account. Anyway, do not buy these Alexa Echo devices. Do not buy Google Home with Google Assistant and voice. Anything with voice, records your voice, sends it to Homebase. And on top of that, the way the technology works for many of these, including Alexa, including Google, and all the compatible devices with Google like Ring and so on, all of the devices store all of your information in the cloud. Amazon has one too. And this is called the Internet of Things, and they're storing data so somebody can actually find even patterns of when you're in the house and when you're not in the house. Okay, so I don't like that. So that's why I said, let me. I've had security systems at my house forever, and I'm actually very unhappy with my security systems. So my intent is to replace the commercial security systems with one I built on my own here. So I not only do I have security systems, I have my own external systems. I have cameras, and I have multiple cameras, and other. Some of my devices in the video you can see are even off grid, meaning they work even without power. So I got cameras, and I got I can access them in my house on the local area network, and I can access them even on battery power when there's no electricity. So I can actually stay protected even off grid. So if the power went down, one of the things you're going to worry about is some bad guys saying, well, these people are preppers, so we want to take their supplies. So it doesn't help to have these kinds of things. I mean, what is the point of having this if you don't know that they're around your house? So my thing is create a system that's not just a perimeter, a intrusion system, but have a perimeter system using radio. One of the things that is very, very difficult, things that are very difficult with surveillance systems is how do you wire external sensors? Because most sensors require some sort of power and wiring, and it's very, very difficult to do that. And so I'm actually playing with this long range transmitters, and that will be powered by battery for maybe a year, and then you leave it out. It will actually give you the power level right here, so you can change batteries every year, and then you can just hang it in places around your house. You don't actually have to worry about permanent mounting. No, those devices are not connected to the internet. No, those devices are not connected to the internet. This device here with a screen, I'm gonna make a version without a full screen, but just a small LCD. So that's part of the experiment. But this model here has a LCD on it. This is actually touch screen, so I can actually operate this with a touch screen. So the goal is that this connects to Brax to send notifications. So this will go to Brax to send notification because I already have an app. I'm testing it with my app. If it works, maybe I'll spin it off into a separate app. But at the moment, it's sending notifications to Brax from this. But there is no way to get in touch with it. It's only a push system. Okay? This pushes notifications out. There's no way to send data into it. So I can't actually examine the data that's in here because the data is being pushed out. Notifications are pushed out, but if you want, it's an option, obviously. But there's no way to actually access this outside of your home. So, so yes, you're getting notifications out. I can even maybe pass photos and things through Brax, but the device itself will be immune because this is only a push system. This only pushes data. So it's not able to receive. More and more satellites are being deployed up there. Can you really disappear from them? Don't worry about satellites. Satellites don't do anything. Worry about the things, that can penetrate your walls, the stuff they put inside your house. So this is very, very interesting very interesting project. And what I'm going to do is show videos. I'm going to do some rudimentary breadboard testing of some devices for like passive infrared and all that. And I'm going to do that and then show you how I can get notifications on Brax. And then the idea is to have many, many things that this can do, including controlling lights, controlling power, controlling things remotely from a phone. So you can control this with your phone inside your house, and you don't have to worry about Google, Apple, Alexa. You don't have to worry about these guys tracking you because this is your own only. So this is part of what I'm working on, and I'll be making several videos. This is not yet ready to, to implement. I'm going to show you what's happening with what I'm doing here because it is fun. I'm going to tell you it's fun through Brax app. Yeah, you can. You'll be able to get notifications on Brax. It's already working. I actually tried that. I can actually get notification right here. I log into this from the menu and actually send a test notification now, and it sends me a notification on my phone that says there's an intrusion or perimeter intrusion. So I can actually attach battery operated tiny little plastic container containing sensors, put it out in the front of the house. So if anyone, including the mailman, if they approach the house, I'll adjust it so that it can sense any person that walks in past the sidewalk. Because I want to know that. I want to be able to do it before you even cross the house. I want to know if you're scoping the house. I want to know if you're peeking out of windows. I want to know if you're checking things out. I want to know that. That device has any Chinese components that may be compromised hardware. Duari, come on, that's easy to test. I've seen a couple screens for Pi. Will I just need your software for this to work? No, this is much more sophisticated than that, John. It requires you to get sensors, but the sensors are reasonably priced. This is not expensive sensors. Typically, I'll give you an example. I'll give you examples. When I yeah, the problem with the pictures WeFu is they consume so much bandwidth, and for certain things, yeah, it will store it can take the pictures, but you don't need to have the alert send it to you. You can go look at it. I can send a picture, even on Brax. I could do that. I could take a snapshot and then send that over there. How many GPIO connections does it require? Medcow, it's a receiver, so it's radio. There's going to be only one receiver. The receiver will receive all the radio signals from multiple sensors, and then the software will figure it out. So Intuitive Diane, hello, my friend. How are you? You're the only one using that feature on YouTube to message, and I don't even know how you're supposed to get to it. If there's no notification, I don't know how to get to it. How many? So how are you? Good morning, Diane. It's morning, right, or lunchtime? Our guy's gonna have another baby. So anyway, this is such an interesting little project because I don't know what you can do with this because there's no limit. It's like home automation, but in a safe kind of a way. Home automation in a safe way, and my plan is that most of it will occur on radio transmitters. Yes, Aggie, have fun with your Google Home and your Alexa Echo and all that. Have fun with that. You just brought in 3-letter agencies into your house. If that's what you want, and I do not recommend that, people. So whatever Aggie says, do not do that. Don't get this an Alexa Echo. Don't get any of these devices. They're not safe. Don't get these voice-operated devices, especially the voice-activated. Let me just explain again for those of you who don't understand how these voice things work, which is why that is not a feature you should ever have on a security system. Use your ducking phone and go punch buttons on it. Do not have voice. Okay? Now, why not? Aggie, why not? Why not have Alexa Echo controlling and Google Assistant controlling your home automation? John, I received an Alexa as I won a Christmas present, which was an Alexa Echo, and I quickly exchanged it because it's not something I will ever use. I can build my own Alexa Echo. You can build one on a Raspberry Pi. So the way that Alexa Echo works, people, for those of you who don't know, and I've talked about this for years, so I don't want to be repetitive for those who've heard this before, but I'm not a tech guy, so please help us understand why not. Yes, Aggie. So listen to me, guys. Listen. The Alexa Echo device. Let's just say that this is an Echo. Okay, let's say this is an Echo. The Alexa Echo is not any more powerful than this. It's a tiny computer, no more powerful than a Raspberry Pi, probably less on an Echo. And you're using this computer in here, and this computer is not capable of voice recognition. It's not. This is not capable of voice recognition. Okay? It takes too much CPU to do that. This does not have that much CPU. It can't do that. So how does Amazon Echo and Siri and all these things work? They work by sending your voice. Now, all these are able to transmit voice. That's just sending a small file. They send it in low resolution. Like, maybe 14K bits, something low resolution. It's a small file. They send it to the cloud. The server over at Amazon, at Siri, at all this, receives that voice, translates. They have big machines that do the voice recognition and then sends a response back to the little device. So basically, this is a uploader downloader device only. That is all it does. Upload and download. So when you talk to your Echo and say, Alexa, who's zucking me tonight? Okay, so when you're getting that, this Alexa can't figure that out. So it takes a recording, takes a snippet of that, and then it does a quick send of your voice to the Amazon servers. Amazon then says, oh, okay, this translates to who zucked me tonight, and then then goes to the AI programs just to come up with a reasonable response, sends it back to this device, and then you hear the response. Hold on, Twitty. Let me just see. Does turning off location services on Apple Macs help at all to limit your tracking? Or is it more of a marketing thing? Better to turn it off by default than that, again, only when needed. Turning location off is the minimum, but there's many, many people tracking location at different levels. So some apps will respond to that location setting. Some won't. Facebook will not. Okay? So in those cases, you just leave the platforms that are doing that. It takes me like 5 tries to get to Siri to listen to me. Okay, so anyway, let me just continue on here. Let me continue on. Okay. So since this device is just a voice forwarder, it doesn't actually store the voice here, nor is it able to interpret what you're saying. It doesn't have any AI capability with this. GPS, forget that GPS, Dwadi, that's not useful. GPS is no longer part of the mechanism for tracking location. GPS is so like 80s. Actually, there was no GPS in the 80s. Okay, GPS is so 90s. Doesn't it record? Yes. So anyway, since your voice goes to Google and Amazon, the question is, what happens to your voice? Now, an independent researcher verify what happens to your voice, and this journalist found out that all of them keep your voice messages, and if you actually read the terms of service, they actually tell you, yes, we do store your voice. We do store blame Periscope, Kelp. We do store your voice, and for some amount of time, it says. This is on Alexa, for some amount of time. And Siri says the same thing. But what are their actual policies? As it turns out, Apple keeps your voice commands for a period of about 6 months, and then they delete it. They keep it for 6 months. Google, Microsoft, Amazon, etc., anybody else, with the exception of Apple, the other players from Google to Amazon to Microsoft have not ever deleted your voice. They have every recording of everything you've ever said that's been heard by Alexa and Google and Bixby and Cortana and so on. It has all that. Therefore, for those of you who says, I am proud of my automation system, it's so nicely technically fun, it's so high tech, and I'm so big on tech, and I want to do home automation, and I spent all this money on these fancy gadgets. It's zucked up. Zucked up. Because Tim Cook is, much more. He's the only CEO that's semi-sensitive to privacy. They still want to track you, but not. They've set a limit. They've set a limit to how they want to track you. Whereas Google and Amazon said, no, we'll track you every which way we can. We don't want to ever give up the tracking. So anything that is controlled by Google Home is also being controlled in the cloud. It's the same thing that when people say, I want to use Google Docs. Google Docs. Well, Alexa does not run without internet, Dwadi, so It doesn't run without internet. So you're going to say, well, I don't have internet in my house, but I have Alexa. Then throw it in a garbage can. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything in the box. It only works by connecting to Amazon. So if you have Google Docs, a lot of schools and employers and universities, they said, okay, we're going to use Google Docs. So you go to university and they're saying UCLA org or edu, and then that's your email address, but actually it's Gmail. Okay, because they don't want to maintain it, so they say, okay, let's have Google do it, which means every email now is being kept by Google the whole time you're in college. Every document you ever put with your name on it is in Google Docs, and they read it, and that's how they make money. They say, what are you thinking about in your Google Docs? I don't fucking use Google Docs. When you put your photos in Google Photos, they announce this, so this is not a secret. They're doing facial recognition on the photos, so the government can frame you whenever they like. They have more than enough to put you at the scene. Yes, Aggie, unfortunately, this is why I don't want to use your fancy surveillance kind of home automation. I don't want to use any of that. That's why I have to build one. This is my rebellion. My rebellion is I have the capability. I'm going to make my own. I have the skills. Why do I need to rely on them? I'll make my own and make it fancier by making it all wireless. You definitely use Google Docs. It's great. So every time you use Google Docs, just understand that they're giving that to you for free so that they can go spy on your documents. What will he call it? I don't know what to call it, but I'm thinking no voice. I'm thinking of maybe something to do with a dome of protection, because let's say this also had VPN routing, Tor routing, and a security system all in one little box that you can access from a phone and protected from internet manipulation. This would be pretty interesting. So, and if we can keep the cost down, like you can have a standalone system that's not connected to Google Home, like Simply Safe. Okay, Simply Safe. Simply Safe is I keep getting all these. The Simply Safe guy just won't quit. And every day I get an email from Simply Safe saying, "Oh yeah, consider this device." Simply Safe is inexpensive. They sell you a unit, the home base, for $2.99, and you buy all these parts for $50 here, $50 there. It's still going to cost you. By the time you have a few devices, you're at $5.99. But you don't need any kind of service with it, so that's in essence what they would save money on. I've paid so much money for my security systems. I have every which kind. My current security system is provided by Spectrum. So, and on top of the security system provided by Spectrum, I have my own external ones that I did not get from Spectrum. I set up my own cameras and all that. So I don't like the way the Spectrum works, and I don't like the way that some of these new home automation things work. And they all come with little devices that you can control over the internet, and how you have to do a port forwarding. If anybody knows what port forwarding is, you basically are opening up a port on your router in there so that some hacker can come in and invade your house system. I just don't like these. These are terribly bad approaches to security. Okay? So I'm saying, well, let me just build my own, and we'll build it for fun first. Or what are you going to do when your flip phone can get signal because of 5G? Trust NoHo, we'll deal with that when the time comes, but maybe we have to go ham radio or something. I don't know. Some other solution. You can put it together, John. You will be able to put it together. Some parts of it. Uh, uh, this is part of my experimentation because I don't have the parts yet. I have some of them. Some of them are just plain chips. I got to put it in a container. I got to put a battery on it, and I got to measure how long the power will last on the battery. Some external tests show that they can last like a very, very long time. So why isn't there a question about Raspberry Pi? What makes it special? It's made for hobbyists because it's basically expandable and it's cheap. $35 for the board. So it keeps the pricing of the little projects. It's a powerful enough computer that you can do things with it for cheap and kind of disposable. So, what if I told you that you can buy chips for wireless, plain chips. You got to still do stuff with it, but the chips for some of the wireless things are like $1, $1. So I just bought a dozen transmitters and receivers. I got 10 transmitters, 10 receivers for $10. And if you know how to program them, you can come up with a whole bunch of things to control around your house, and for a fairly reasonable price. Instead of getting charged $5.99 by Simply Safe, you will have more stuff and it will be a fraction of the price. Freedom with an E. Could Raspberry Pi itself have weaknesses that may be as bad? No, Dwadi. Obviously, I am the one who wrote the program. I wrote the program. It's not hidden. You can go and, SSH to the thing and look at the program and see what it does. So therefore, it's mostly built out of open systems, so you can see exactly what it's doing. So whereas you get a Amazon Echo black box and you don't know what it's doing in there unless you study the programming instructions from Amazon, which tells you exactly how you send the voice to Amazon. You actually do send your voice to Amazon. If there's any doubt about that, any study of the Open API will show you. So this is the kind of stuff that it's kind of fun, and just watch the videos. I don't know how long it will take me to turn this into a product. It took me a while to even just set up the software for it to just control this. But that's written now. I have all the interfaces. I can actually have the buttons work and do things now. And I just set up a framework so that it's easy to do. So it'll be just more like tweaking. It's just tweaking to assemble it. All the heavy lifting is done already. So, and it's actually, sophisticated enough. I can change colors, change fonts, and pretty much do any device initialization or tracking that I want to do. Can the Amazon voice be plugged into just any software? Who in the right mind would do that? Yes, you can build your own Amazon Echo on a Raspberry Pi. They give you the program. You can download the program from Amazon. You basically insert their libraries into your Python programs, and then that's what's going to work. I need to remember my password first. Okay, so and the idea that I'm working off is that you don't even need to be physically near this. Basically, just plug this in anywhere in your house, and then control it from your phones or any phone or any computer in the house, and actually on the top of it, it actually tells me what the HTTP address is. So if I forget, I just look at it. It shows you right here. If you can't see it, but you can't see the text here. Let me see if I can flip. Yeah. But right at the top, it actually tells me what the IP address is. So all I do is type that on my phone there. I type it on my phone and I can actually control this. So we're talking about, maybe doing a lot of stuff even with sensors for, a little over $100. If you spend like $5.99 on like a Simply Safe, this would be much cheaper than that. So that's my assumption right now. Hello, Marcelo. Marcelo, trust. What about the trust, Cyrus Ramsey? So you can SSH to it and see how it works. I mean, it's all something obvious like PHP and Python, and you can see exactly how it works. So it's not going to be a secret. So you can even assemble your own sensors and things if you want to do it yourself. So I'm just writing the software for it. So the idea is that let's come up with this is part of the Brax army. Come up with tools that defend us from the evils of the big spy machine, and come up with our own stuff that's not really what Axie not what what is that I don't know what the context was. When doing a Wi-Fi scan, gonna block out vendor name on PI. Yeah, that doesn't cross the internet though, John. So that is only valuable when you're on mobile, because to be attacked on that, you're gonna have to be on the road, like going to Walmart, where they take that MAC address information. At your house, nobody's gonna care. I answered your question about trust. AC. Okay. So anyway, yeah, there's not going to be any secret. This is an open platform, so you can go in here and look at what it does. So, and you can see how I'm sending notifications only push. There's no internal control to get in here. So I just wrote a PHP script so that when Python detects an alert from a sensor, it sends out a notification. I have no need to trust these devices. I have 2 hands and feet. Yeah, but that the technology is really amazing, Cyrus. Technology is amazing, but the technology that they're talking about has gone too far. And they're not safe. So you want a technology that you can control in your house. When somebody says, I want to store all my data in the cloud, I want to manipulate my photos and all that in the cloud, you ought to be concerned, especially with voice. So we can take advantage of the technology, especially the wireless things. So some of these wireless things can operate within 100 meters away. So you can put it really far. You can put it at your gate. If you have a big farm, you can put it 300 meters away and see if somebody's approaching your gate when you're asleep, and then you get a notification. I mean, these kind of stuff that you can do, and all it takes is putting out a device that will run on battery for a year, and maybe just change batteries every year. So take advantage of tech, and tech will take advantage of you. Exactly. So it's not open source, and open source has a special kind of implication. Open source means that anyone can use the software. I'm not gonna write this open source. However, it's open. Just so we're clear, there's nothing encrypted on it. The source is visible. So if you're a programmer, you can read the source code. So it is in fact open. But open source means I don't make any money from it. Okay. Hey, Herbie. We don't have a gig till October, Herbie. October. What YouTube link is gone? I don't know what you're talking about. What YouTube link is gone? Anyway, October, Herbie. October. So practice maiden voyage First yacht gig. Open code, but not open source. Got it. Yeah. So it's going to be open code. The code is you. It's not going to be encrypted on here. You can. It's 1024. 1024, Herbie. 1024. Yeah, I was playing at the farmers market today with Tom. So you're probably with him right now, right? Did you just do a gig with him? Okay, so yeah, so you are incorrect. GPL v3 makes no money. You are incorrect. GPL v3 makes no money. Yes, that's correct. That's why I don't want to do open source, because I do want to make some money from it. So gotta sustain what I do here. So the only way to get sustained is I'm a software developer, so I can sustain it. No secrets though. I don't believe all of the stuff that you're hungry. All the stuff that I sell are actually open. You can actually read the software on the device, and there's nothing secret on it. So if you have the time to figure it out, figure it out. But for real, send me the link to the first yacht club. I want to hear this one part on blue and green. Okay. Would it be the open feature be a security risk at any level, or is it foolproof? You mean for somebody to reprogram it? For somebody to reprogram it? No, they can't. You can't control this unless they have physical access to it. So yeah, a bad guy could come in here and reprogram it. Yes. If you give it to him, they say, "Let me borrow your device for a week. I want to play with it," and then they put some secret code in there to do secret transmissions. So yeah, somebody could do that, but that's true of anything. Basically, no forking without your explicit written permission. It's not open source, Cosmic. It'll be, I'm sending physical chips to people. Here's the chip. You load it into the device, and and it's there. If you want to see what's on there, you go SSH into it and see what the source code is, so you can check it out yourself. We could kick his butt before they get their hands on it. That's good. You may need to do this, Dwadi. Can I borrow your pie? I promise I won't edit the code. I'm just poking at you now. Dinner time. Yes, Hawaii dinner time. Can the Amazon Voice app be plugged into just any software? No. When you load the software, Mad Cow, from Amazon, you're basically loading Amazon software. They provide you with the software, and you insert it into your existing software. So it's basically a library. So you say, okay, I want to make my own version of Echo. And Amazon, you want to connect to Amazon. They give you the API for it. You connect to it. They give you for whatever language you want. If it's Python or PHP or whatever, you load into your device, and it's basically Amazon's code. Thank you, Kaka. So Amazon's code. So they don't have Twitty. They don't. Come on. They don't. Aggregated data is not sifted through manually. They have companies like Palantir that will sift through it automatically. They know what to search for. They database it and find some way to use it to say, let's attach this information to individuals so that we can control people. That's the point of all this. So having your voice out there and having whatever you think about being recorded by Alexa Echo and Google Assistant and Siri and all this is really not a good thing. Because you're basically exposing your beliefs and your habits and your ideas on somebody's surveillance system. Why does Zuck would you want to do that? I don't understand people. They're buying, millions and millions of these IOT devices, and Google's making big money off it. And you guys are like saying, oh, there's no risk here. There's no risk. Yes, Twitty. I thought I thought you meant manually sift through it. Okay, yes, yes, Mad Cow. I just open source means I give somebody license to use it over and over for free. So I just don't want to necessarily do that. Maybe later if I'm rich. But good morning, Marcelo. I'm sorry I do not speak English. A big hug from Porto Alegre in Brazil. Too bad I can't play music, Brazilian music, because then they'll demonetize me. I just did a gig today and we played all of the Joe Beam tunes. Did you hear about the new proposed law to disclose the money made from our data? You actually think that's going to work? So look, Facebook says we're going to make money from your data indirectly, so you're not going to be able to tell. We're going to hide it in Libra. Okay? Do you actually think your elected officials are going to care and going to defend us from Libra? They're trying to grow a better AI using voice and text and other data, maybe. They already are having a better AI. So the AI is about you. 3 days of the Condor, but now it's digital. 3 days was a great... Yeah, it is a great movie. I appreciate how AI more accurately stands for algorithmic intelligence instead of artificial. Did they rename it Cosmic? Because I always refer to the YouTube algorithm. The thing about algorithm implies a fixed algorithm, like a decision tree, which is not exactly how it works anymore. Advanced AI is based on neural nets, and neural nets are probability based. They spot fuzzy logic based on human behavior, and they make decisions based on how humans think of it. So algorithms can be well, to me, an algorithm is just, I'm a programmer. To me, an algorithm is a specific solution to a specific problem. Whereas to me, an artificial or AI is more of a, changing thing that is learning. So I don't presume that an algorithm learns. The algorithm is a set of rules that somebody put in. Artificial intelligence is when it makes its own rules. So when something is independently making its own rules, then it's artificial intelligence in my mind, or AI. Or maybe they can call it algorithmic intelligence, but whatever they call it, it's learning. And that's the learning part, that you have to be concerned about. So the learning part. I thought YouTube used a team of highly trained... Never heard of algorithmic intelligence until now. Did you see Microsoft's AI Tay? What is a Tay? What is a Tay? So guess what? Since AI is based on probability decisions, it's based on what is the probability of how a human observes a problem, and how are they going to solve it, and it's probability based. It's not based on discrete points. It's based on kind of a fuzzy logic. The new computers, quantum computers, are made for that. They're made to do that very fast. So the new computers will have that kind of capability for, in theory, some years from now, the advanced AI will come from quantum computers. So quantum computers. So, and then, the AIs will be learning at a very, very fast rate, much faster than today. And that's when we get to the singularity. No free. Everyone's having problems with Periscope. Actually, I did freeze now. This is the first time. Periscope is unstable here. That was my first freeze from Periscope. YouTube is fine. Everything is fine on my end here. So the problem is on the Periscope end. Problem is on the Periscope side. But no issues here. Fortunately, just a blip and not a crash. So I found I wanted to, I did not get a chance to do it. I was going to change the frequency I used for the broadcast because the neighbor's Wi-Fi is probably interfering with my Wi-Fi because we're both on 5 gigahertz. Why is Periscope okay? All the other apps are dangerous. Periscope is not okay. What are you talking about? Periscope is not okay. Any app can be as safe or as dangerous as you make it, depending on your choices. You make the choice. I'm going to give you an example. If your name is John Gross and you go on Periscope, is Periscope safe? No, because you've turned it into Facebook. You've given it your real name. If you go on YouTube and you say, my name is John Gross, I'm on YouTube, is it going to be safe? No. If you go on Facebook, they're going to require you to use John Gross, so you're stuck. If you're going to be on Twitter and use John Gross, then you're going to have a problem. Now, let's say you say I'm John the guy, and you went on Periscope and called yourself John the guy, and you went to Twitter and said I'm John the guy, and you went to YouTube and said John the guy, and you don't have any email or any other identifiers connecting you to any other name but John the guy, then it's safe. So it's up to you. You make it safe. The only problem is there's no way to make Facebook safe. It's impossible. It's one of the few platforms, LinkedIn is the other one, where you can't make it safe. There's no way to do pseudo-anonymity. So for those platforms, you're kind of stuck. You're done. I couldn't even find you on Periscope. What name do I search on? I'm Rob Music on Periscope, Twitty. Rob Music. Not going to change that now. That's the one I originally made. What about shared accounts? Then shared accounts can give disinformation, but it gives limited disinformation if the information is similar. But a good use of a shared account is if the other person is a liberal and the other one is conservative. That would be perfect. The more disinformation, the better. So since we cannot hide, on the internet, our data is always out there. First, do not feed the giants with the data. So don't have security systems, Google Home, Alexa, where you're feeding them information daily. Why would you want to do that? The less information you give, the better. And when you want to feed information to the AI, feed them wrong information or confusing information. For example, many of you are so politically minded that you go on the internet and you're so consistently angry and attacking other people who don't believe the same way as you do, and you consistently do that, and you're actually feeding the AI information. I don't put any political opinions with a real name anywhere. Can you sell a home security camera system with secure remote mobile access? Yes, Cosmic, I can. But not in the way that you're thinking. Not in a let me control the device remotely. There's a way to do it. And that is for this device to get information from the world by pulling the data that it wants rather than somebody pushing data to this. What you want to prevent is prevent anyone from pushing data to the device. What you want is for the device to decide on its own to pull the data. For example, let's say that you want to reboot the device. Well, you can send a instruction that says, "Could you please reboot at 6 a.m.?" And then the device says, "Okay, I see that I've received instruction to reboot. I will now make the decision to reboot myself." So there's no direct way to control it. So that I've done this before. I actually did a medical project where I did the exact same thing. I've done these kinds of projects before. In fact, using a Raspberry Pi, I did a system where medical data was being sent through these as a secure platform for sending data from laboratories to radiologists to doctors' offices, and it's doing it without a firewall setting or an open internet. There's no ports open. You cannot access this with an open port. But what it does is it takes data by pulling it from the source, and then filters the data, and then says, okay, that's a fully validated instruction, and I will take it. And then it takes it and does it. So there's a lot I can do with this over time. It's I'm gonna make sure that it runs for myself first. You're gonna see some like baby step videos. I'm gonna release some videos next week to just show you where I am. It's not gonna be fancy or anything, but it will show you what I've managed to do with this. I'm gonna test it with just one sensor first, and how this can then be used to send me a notification on my phone from the sensor. So my skill is in the software side. The hardware stuff is pretty obvious. It's all this chips and things out on the world to buy. So I just buy the chips and then I assemble it. Hell no, we don't trust them. So I just buy the chips and assemble into something, and then my plan is to put a receiver on this. And I'm not talking about internet receiver. I'm talking about battery operated transmitters. So this is not going to be tied to the internet. If the internet goes down, this will still run. Do you understand what I'm saying, guys? If the internet is down, this security system will still run. The router from your store compatible with this? Yes, Twitty. Did you order a router from the store? Yeah, it's the same device. I'm selling this one here is a Raspberry 3B Plus. Okay, so all of the stuff I'm building on is a Raspberry Pi 3D Plus, which is the same one that I'm using for the router. Now, let me just say this. The Raspberry Pi 3B Plus is not the newest model. They just released a newer model called the Raspberry Pi 4. The Raspberry Pi 4 is much more expensive for no added benefit for what we're trying to do. So I'm going to stay with a cheaper one. Okay? So this is really exciting. So we'll stay with a cheaper one. Don't worry about the fact that there's a newer model. We don't need to spend that extra money on the newer model for this. At some point, even these are always useful. So I still have the 3Bs from before, and they all still work. You can still use them for something. So they're still all usable. P04 Pi. So Simon, apparently there's even a problem with the USB-C of the Pi 4, so that's another issue. I don't really want to push it when it's not ready. I'm considering the new model with the extra RAM to play around with. Yes, Cosmic, I bought one with a little bit of extra RAM, not too much. I bought a 2 gigabyte version, Cosmic, to play with, but I'm not going to commercially market that. It's too early for that. Too early to market the Pi 4. There's some issues with it. So, and it doesn't have complete support with all the software. So that's a development platform on the Raspberry Pi 4. The production one that I'm going to be using is a Pi 3B Plus. 3B Plus. Yes, I have to wait for the fixes. So it's kind of a pain. So anyway, I ordered my Pi 4. It's going to, I think it'll arrive Wednesday. Because here in the U.S., we're not getting them till Wednesday. So it's not available yet, but I pre-ordered it. It's gonna arrive on Wednesday. They don't even have it yet. I'll be in the first batch of people to get a Raspberry Pi 4 in the U.S. because the other Raspberry Pi 4s are in the UK. So we have very limited here in the U.S. Stability is better than fresh hardware. Are the issues or hardware software for the new Pi? Hardware, John. If it's software, then it's always fixable. No, they're hardware related. One of the mistakes they made was apparently a something wrong in the circuit board of the USB-C. Because this old one here, this is the B plus. This uses micro USB. The new one is USB-C, and apparently they put a resistor in the wrong spot, and that some devices don't think it's a valid USB-C. So, okay, smart TV questions. Okay, is the router I ordered? So okay, so let's. I had a smart TV question above. Where is that question? Did I miss it? Hold on. What about the cloud alias not the same as separate email addresses? So you'll be sent no, they're not going to replace it. So that means you have to have some hardware fix. You got to get some adapter or something. So one more little thing to worry about until you wait for the next model. So Twitty, where's the TV question? Oh, are you talking about Periscope? Are they spying on us if TV is connected to the internet? Twitty, the CIA revealed that they are on some models. Was it they were spying on some of the models, smart TVs? So that was what we found out back then. They could be spying on other newer models. So this was in Vault 7. This was actually shown. So they were actually doing it. They were spying on the TVs. So yes, I don't have a smart TV. I don't even watch TV. I watch on a computer. So anyway, what I'm saying is on Vault 7, we don't have to guess about this. They did spy on people on Samsung and other things on a smart TV, and this was done by the CIA. Okay, don't type that here. This was done by the CIA, the Zucking IA, and they were actually doing that, and it was in the Vault 7. So if you have any doubt that they can do that, yes. So don't jump to technology on IoT. I want my refrigerator to talk to me. I want my refrigerator to make coffee for me. I want it to prepare the food. I want my washing machine to automatically put bleach. I want my, it's like all of these little things that you want all this intelligence turned devices. And all of that currently means you have to send information out of your home to somebody else, and you have to, and you don't get a chance to agree to this because they make it confusing, so you don't understand what you're volunteering for, and you buy all of these devices. So if you're thinking right now of going to Best Buy, or getting a Simply Safe or Google Home products or any of that because they look fancy and they look cool and they can be installed expensively by experienced installers, zuck that. Okay? We're going to come up with an answer that does not require expensive installers. We're going to come up with a thing. I've spent thousands of dollars in security systems. And then when after the contract expires, then I replace it with another security system. I'm wasting my money. Personal privacy is a natural and constitutional right, not an option you have to enable. The Supreme Court doesn't believe that, Cosmic. That is your expectation. The law does not respect you. We need to change the law so that the law gives us respect. Even the EU actually respects privacy in the law. The U.S. law does not. So, so in some ways we're behind on that, especially on, privacy. Maybe because the companies that are doing the privacy violations are in the U.S. EU made some good. In some ways, they did some good. In some ways, they're bad too, because doing the copyright things and some of that. That's kind of like, Big Brother, EU, Big Brother. We want to make some money out of the U.S. So we're gonna make laws to take the money out of U.S. companies. So if that's a goal, then the EU will suck at that too. But in general, the narrow changes that were done in the EU relating to privacy is something that hasn't happened here. And they tried to pass some new laws in California to head off bigger changes, and then Facebook got fined $5 billion by the FTC for privacy violations. And the question is, what does the settlement mean? What are they doing to protect us? You just don't even know what they're doing on the devices. They need to slap on some violations also to Amazon, because what the fuck is going on with that Alexa Echo? Why are we allowing? Yes, you're alive, kelp. Why are we allowing? The spying to occur, and we don't have a say in it, and that's and there's nothing to protect us. So people say, well, didn't you read the data policy and the privacy policy and the terms of service? And I'm going to tell you, some of that stuff is just made to confuse you. Okay, made to confuse you. I'll give you a specific example, and this one of the worst ones. So the Facebook app from Facebook, obviously, the Facebook app now says they do Wi-Fi triangulation. So they didn't say that. They said we track the MAC addresses of the Wi-Fi's around you. That's what they said. In the data policy, we track the MAC addresses of the Wi-Fi's around you. Now, for most of you who don't understand anything about what that means, you have no idea of the implication of that. Okay, as a tech guy, I'm going to tell you the implication of that. If I had the MAC addresses of the Wi-Fi's around you, I can find your zucking location within 6 sucking feet. I don't need your location policies or rights. You do not need to give me rights to locations. I can figure it out outside of the app. All I have to do is store your MAC address values, put it somewhere in the Facebook server, and the Facebook server can then figure out the location without picking it up from your device. It's a workaround to getting location. What a sucking trick. What a sucking trick. So basically, Facebook is saying, hey, we don't need to even pay attention to your setup of location rights because we can get around it. So now the question is, what other devices do this? What about Amazon Echo? What about any device that's saying, I'm listening to the MAC addresses of the Wi-Fi's around you and storing it? Very deadly stuff. It's done by Chrome, it's done by Android, and now we're saying, oh yeah, it's going to be done by the Facebook app. Okay? So you don't even need to give permission now. This stuff is hidden away in the data policy, and if you're not a techie, you're not going to understand that's the implication of that. Here's another one. This is in the Facebook app again. it says that in the data policy that they actually collect the MAC addresses of every device in your house. What the zuck is the purpose of collecting a MAC address in your house? What is the purpose? Do you know what a MAC address reveals? It reveals the brand, the specific model of every device in your house. Okay, so Facebook will know, oh, you have 5 Androids, 3 iOS, this model, and your router is made by Linksys. It actually will know all this. And then, if you have a mobile phone, that MAC address then will be spotted out in the wild while you're in some other location. It will actually say, hey, I've seen this MAC address before. It belongs to this person. So even if you do not identify yourself, if you get into range of a device that is tracked, like at Walmart, and you're using a Facebook app at Walmart, the MAC address app on anyone running Facebook and sucking Walmart will say, oh, we have seen this MAC address, so you are at Walmart. You guys don't understand what I'm talking about. This is the kind of stuff that I'm seeing here. It's crazy. Crazy. Do you understand what I just said? I don't think many of you understand what I just said because it's quite technical. So let me repeat it again. Because this is very important. I've never actually explained this to you. Let me repeat it again, okay? Every device, this Raspberry Pi, which I can spoof the MAC address of this. So we can we can spoof the MAC address of this. So we won't give him information. But every device has a MAC address. Now, what is a MAC address? It's a device identifier. If you actually look at the meaning of the MAC address, the first part of it is the manufacturer. So from that they'll learn, oh, this is made by this company or that company. Okay, this is an Apple-made product. This is made by Linksys. It's part of the Ethernet connection. All devices that you use that connects to the internet has a MAC address. Okay, so this is what Facebook says. If you have a Facebook app, so one of you in the house, my sister, who's always on Facebook, she came to my house and she basically stayed here while she's inside the network. The sucking Facebook app starts to look for MAC addresses of all the devices in the house. So now we know that these devices are connected. They're from the same family. So you may have a dozen or so devices in your house, computers and cell phones and whatever. And now that's all linked to be family related. Okay? Now, they now stored the value of the MAC addresses of all the devices and then attach it to your Facebook name. So your name is Jane Smith. Jane Smith's family is now connected to all these MAC addresses that are collected by the Facebook app used by Jane Smith. So out of the blue, another person, and let's say is Joe Blow at Home Depot. Joe Blow is walking around at Home Depot, okay? And while he's walking around at Home Depot, his device is connected to the network. Free Wi-Fi. Well, it doesn't have to be connected, but it is basically passively looking for Wi-Fi. So his Wi-Fi MAC address is being broadcast. Here's a Facebook app, and it listens to the MAC addresses and says, "Oh, you are at Home Depot because you got your location turned on. And at Home Depot, I'm finding all these MAC addresses around your network, and some of them are from Jane Smith. That means Jane Smith is at Home Depot." and you did not give permission for the location. This has nothing to do with that. This is one of the sneaky ways that Facebook is doing this. It's actually quite crazy. Tracking MAC addresses is one of these that MAC addresses don't actually cross the internet. You have to be in a LAN to detect a MAC address. But with Facebook being the central controlling collector of MAC addresses, it starts to have a lot of extra value. Helen, according to the data policy, they gave an example of what they were going to use this data for. In the data policy, they said they want to know if you have a streaming device. According to Facebook, the reason they want to know the MAC address is they want to know if you have a streaming device. Okay, well, you can use it for that. You can find out if you have a streaming device, but if you collect this data, you can basically find out any number of things that Facebook will actually then have data. The internet protocol does not send MAC addresses over the internet. It's not part of the protocol. With somebody as big as Facebook now collecting MAC addresses, it's now making a database of MAC addresses independent from the internet. It's creating its own data set. This is the kind of craziness I got to deal with here. And you say, well, but I got to use Facebook. My friends are on there. This is the kind of bad stuff I'm talking about. This is evil, pure evil. Every device has a MAC address. Yes. Pure evil when you start saying, I'm going to invade your privacy to the point of finding out not only your MAC addresses, but the MAC addresses of the Wi-Fi's around you. Now, why is the MAC address Wi-Fi around you of any significance? Well, because you can send the data to the Google database, and Google will actually spot the location based on the MAC address of the Wi-Fi's around you. So Facebook doesn't even have to build anything. All they have to do is subscribe to the Google database. It will actually give your location based on the Wi-Fi, the MAC addresses of the Wi-Fi's. So it's pretty crazy stuff. So the only way to evade this on this device would be to keep changing the MAC address. Like every day use a different MAC address. Confuse the AI. So then you're coming to tell me, oh, but I trust Google, I trust Amazon, I trust all these companies, I trust Facebook, so I'm going to buy these home automation devices from these companies. I mean, people, I don't understand. I really don't understand. At what point is what I'm saying going to get to ring in your head and say, this Rob guy, he knows what he's talking about, and there's a big problem here. It's like, nobody pays attention to me. And it's just utter craziness what's happening here, because people don't understand the technical side of what's actually happening. So you don't understand the seriousness of what I'm saying. This is a very, very serious breach of privacy to collect MAC addresses, and that's just one of the data points. Yes, Pyro, Jules, yes. By collecting MAC addresses all over the internet, so now Facebook is collect anyone that's using the. By the way, they can only do this. Pyro, Jules, Facebook can only do this using the Facebook app. They cannot do this on the browser. So if you've not installed the Facebook app, you actually won't have this issue. This is only an issue on the Facebook app. This is why when you go to the public, you need to turn your phone off or put it in a Faraday bag or something, because now we got to worry about this. This is like sucking crazy. Okay? Sucking crazy. Let's do an experiment. I'll make a... remember the scenario about the Faraday bag, because I'm going to try to see if I can make a cheap Faraday bag, using homemade parts that you can make yourself. Something that will last more than one use. Because the problem is, oh yeah, you can wrap it in aluminum foil, but then you have to carry the aluminum foil every multiple times a day and tear it open, and that's not going to work. So we gotta find something that's semi reusable. Do we know what FB is doing with this MAC address or why they are doing this? Helen, the data policy says they're using it to find streaming devices. That's what it says on there. Unfortunately, it can be used for other